get done real quick. But some people also want a nice pedestal seed, so I'm hoping for some light trolls, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, it's always nice to see some kind of trolling involved, even if it's nothing major, just something that'll get our runners moving in different directions. We just have a red rupee in Link's house.
Alright, so both of our runners starting off with Link's house. This is a fairly standard opening. You can check Link's house, of course, with the red rupee. Looks like they're going to kill guard here for a tree pull, so you can see what that is. Maybe get some bombs or an 8-pack from a blue guard, apparently.
Yeah, they're probably more happy about that than the actual tree pull that they got, for sure.
And some very quick items. It only takes about a minute at this stage, and yeah, if you do get something like bombs, you're pretty much set for the village. Ooh, red cane.
Yeah, the Cane of Samario in the Uncle Cave, and both runners taking the different parts of Uncle Cave, but ending at approximately the same exact time. Going to go over the Sanctuary, see what that is. Just the map.
So, the cane is actually a really neat item, especially early on when you don't really have any weapons just yet, because the cane is actually a weapon. The block does damage, and of course you can make the block explode to deal... It's basically fighter sword damage, but it's still an alternative to doing something like bombs. You can kill, as someone in chat mentioned, land molas with it.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, because this is open mode, so who knows when we'll see a sword. We did get a map check. I believe all three dungeons in the Light World are crystal dungeons, so we will be seeing the completion of all of 3 of those dungeons at least. Also got a red rupee bush crab as well.
Now that's nice. An easy way to farm rupees. It's a great find. And I do want to point out the Fat Fairy. One of the Fat Fairy crystals is up at Hera.
Ooh, that's nice.
And a glove in the tree.
And in the lumberjack tree, we just have 300 rupees, so I don't see them going to fight Aghanim for that. But Aghanim still on the table right now because we do not have all the items for Dark World just yet.
Yeah, I don't really see them going for 300 rupees when you can just farm rupees from the bush crab.
Oh yeah, especially that bush crab for sure.
So it's actually good to know the locations of the bush crab. There's one by that, right after that tree by the lumberjacks. There's one in the Lost Woods. There's also one that you will walk by down by the dam. So the fact that it's red rupees, that's basically Zora money right there.
Definitely. And we do get the Moon Pearl inside the Kakariko greenhouse, as I informally call it. And the mirror. Ooh, that's a perfect item to get in conjunction with the Pearl, because once you do get Dark World access, that's free range to both Light and Dark World once you can actually get there.
Now, the fact that we have a glove and a mirror so far, that also means they can go to Hera if they wish. Now, it would be a bit of a sequence break without Lantern or Flute to get up to Death Mountain, but at the same time, I'm sure both of our runners can handle that just fine.
Mm-hmm.
So getting to a dungeon early. However, if they have to go to the basement of Hera, well, they can't do that just yet.
Yeah, we probably won't see that play just yet until at the very least they have like a weapon that can actually harm Moldorm as well. So yeah, we're probably not going to see Hera just yet, but they will have those options for sure.
And so we have Mitts at the bottle vendor. That is Dark World access. Mitts plus Moon Pearl.
That is, and honestly at this point, like, I'm not going to say it because, you know, there's still a possibility it could happen, but I'd say that Aghanim is very, very unlikely, and oh my god, a hook shot in the chicken house, too.
Wow. So that is pretty much access to most of Death Mountain.
Yeah.
You see, Wulfy, he's going right for the portal right now. He's not even checking the library or the race game. He's just like, hey, I got Mitts, I got Moon Pearl, let's go do some Dark World stuff.
Yeah, and with that mirror... Oh, okay, map check really quick. I saw green pendant, Darkness Palace, one of the red-blue pendants at Swamp. Did not catch anything else, but those were the main things I saw.
From what I caught, pendants at Thieves, Pod, Swamp, and it looked like the other Fat Fairy Crystal was at Mire.
Okay. But as I was saying, the fact that Wulfy also has the mirror is very, very good because, yeah, like you said, he kind of skipped the race game, but at the same time, while he's doing his Dark World Village of Outcasts routing, he can also just put the library and the race game right back into that routing too. So
that's true, yeah. So with Thieves being a pendant dungeon, there's a chance Wulfy might just opt to leave after checking these first 4 chests. So we'll have to see what he gets first. Nothing at the library for Cransoon. And yeah, just a bomb upgrade, a race game, so Wulfy wasn't missing out on much. Although, like you said, he's probably going to check it after he's done here. Let's see where Cransoon heads. It looks like he's just doing the standard opening. He's going to head south. Probably do Mini Moldorm Cave while he heads down here. Oh, both a map and a compass in Thieves.
If this is the small key, he might have to go further for items, but now it's just 3 bombs. Still not really going to help much, and yeah, he is opting to leave Thieves Town now, so we'll probably be back there later, maybe when we get the hammer.
A nice little quick skip of the push block for Cransoon, so that way he can just do this in one go without doing a screen transition. So I do want to point out that the fact that in Thieves they got both a map and a compass means there is an item in the big chest in Thieves, and you need hammer to get it.
That is true, and because Thieves Town is a pendant dungeon, there is a possibility that they may not go back there, but because of how accessible Thieves is as a dungeon, there could always be something in that back half. We only saw 1 item after all.
Right. So let's see. Mini Moldorm Cave has the single arrow, which is the best item in the game. Cransoon's got it. Well done to him.
This really is a jet seat. Already getting the single arrow? My gosh.
Don't even have to wait to Ganon's Tower. I love the fact that both of our runners are going in completely different paths right now. You have Cransoon checking out the Light World and Wulfy checking out the Dark World. He's probably going to make his way over to Hype Cave after he's done here.
Yeah, definitely. And this is, again, what I was kind of talking about when we started. Just the nature of Randomizer and, like, the skill of these runners. Like, they're willing to try any kind of routing, any kind of decision, just to get somewhere in the seed they're playing. And because of that, you'll see a lot of different routing decisions, and we're definitely seeing a lot of them here. Just a heart container at the race game.
It's a lot of digs for that, too.
Mm-hmm.
And a piece of heart over at Ice Rod Cave. Cransoon is not going to fake Flipper, which is what you would normally see after Ice Rod Cave. You would walk down because that's the setup for fake Flipper. Instead, he's at Sanctuary. He might be heading up to Death Mountain or Back of Escape. Looks like Back of Escape right now.
Yeah, that looks like where he's going. And yeah, since they left Kakariko, nothing's really been paying out at this point, except for that single arrow, of course. But yeah, like nothing else is paid out, so it's kind of good for both runners that their both plays are not really coming up with anything. An escape, we have the key, a heart piece, and some more bombs.
So the fact that we've seen the map, which was in Sanctuary, and we just got the small key, that means all the other chests at Escape and in the castle, they're all items. So there's 4 items there.
Yep, there are, and there will even be one in that Dark Sewer chest, too.
So interestingly enough, the only weapon our runners actually have, Hookshot can damage a few of the enemies, but Cane, like that's the only weapon they have right now.
Yep, that's true. either got to use that cane, or if they have some kind of stone or rock nearby, they can also chuck that. But yeah, cane's all they have at the moment.
All right, so Cransoon is also making his way to the Village of Outcasts area. Wulfy looks like he's doing the dwarves. He'll probably grab the purple chest, and he'll make his way down the Hype Cave, checking all the things on the way.
It's not very often you see the swordsmith turned in at under the 10-minute mark, which I find extraordinary.
I'm curious what we'll see Cransoon do with thieves. If he's going to go in, if he'll go deeper and risk the fact that the big chest has an item, or if he'll also do what Wulfy did and check the first 4.
Well, if he does, he's not going to be very happy with what he finds. In the Ledge South of Grove, just 20 rupees.
So we're only 11 minutes in. The only differences we have with our runners right now is that Cransoon went to South Light World, did basically mini Moldorm area, and he also checked the back of Escape, whereas Wulfy has just done Dark World.
Yeah, that's true. And one thing I do kind of like about Wulfy's play is like it is kind of coming up empty a little bit, but because of the way he's routing, he's kind of trying to do everything he can in one fell swoop. So there won't be like these little like locations here and there. It's like, okay, well, I have to go back through this way in the light world after I do it in the dark world. He's kind of just trying to do everything in one swoop in both worlds. So that could really help, but we also just don't have a lot of items that really kind of point to the progression they need to be at, because the Titan's Mitt just opened up a whole lot of things.
All right, we have Hype Cave. Get ready, chat. Get your resident sleepers in chat. Oh, rupees. All 3 different rupees.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, the rupee cave.
Well,
there were more rupees on the lumberjack tree than there were in that cave, unfortunately.
That's right. Well, you know, the game makes you work for rupees, apparently.
I guess so.
It's like 1 rupee per minute. All right, Cransoon is continuing in Thieves. And we got a fire rod in purple chest. That's interesting. Now, without a sword, they can't finish the rest of Skull Woods. However, that fire rod does give them full access to Hera.
Oh yeah, that is true. It does. Still can't KO Moldorm yet, but yeah, that would give access to Hera for sure.
Now, the neat thing about Wulfy routing this is that without a save and quit, he's just putting in the Southern Light World check right after doing Purple Chest.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Let's see, what can be at pedestal? This is with Pod, it restricts bow. Ice Rod, of course, can be there. Bow, oh, that can't be at pedestal. Yeah. Bow can't be there. Hammer can't be there. Flippers. That might be it.
Yeah, I think so. At that point, yeah, because with how accessible that most of those dungeons are, yeah, those are the only items. There's still a lot that's accounted for, or needs to be accounted for anyway.
Yeah, they already have mirror. They already have hookshot. You see, so yeah, I think that what was mentioned in chat are the only things. Yeah, so the red crystals, those are the crystals you need to get in order to unlock the big bomb to access the Fat Fairy, which are, in the game, crystals 5 and 6. So if our runners happen to pick those up, and on the tracker you'll see that they show up as red, if they beat those 2 dungeons, they can do the Fat Fairy. Alright, so Cransoon is, of course, finishing because Blind is holding an item. You know what would be interesting is if Blind has the hammer.
Yeah, that can definitely happen, for sure. Does not have a lot of magic for this fight, though.
Oh yeah, that's the only way he'll be able to damage Blind. Is this even possible? I mean,
I don't think so, with that much magic. We'll see. Gonna try to prove me wrong.
Oh no, that was oh. Yeah, he has like one shot, and then he mirrors out because he can't do it.
It looked like he could like KO like one phase with just one block, though. So I think it could have been possible if he didn't waste that one shot.
I mean, I think if things go well, it comes out to something like 2 blocks per phase, and there's 3 different phases.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Wolfie just finished the back of Escape. Let's see where he heads off to. Looks like he's heading towards Eastern, maybe. Yeah, Eastern. Could buy some bombs on the way, maybe. Okay, he tried to flip her.
He was trying to see what was on the Hylia Island.
Ah, okay.
Which was just a heart container.
Something you don't have to check later on, since you get it out of the way now. So, keeping within logic, since neither runners have went up to Death Mountain, like I mentioned earlier, you need either a lantern to get through the dark room or flute. So if you don't sequence break up there, we're starting to run out of locations that either of those things could be. So Eastern, of course, is one of those areas. The fact that they have gold mitts means Zora is within progression.
Mm-hmm.
We have Skull Woods. They can actually access most of Skull Woods, except for the boss.
That's right. So Skull Woods, Eastern, Agana, or Zora is looking like... or there's even the first part of Escape, too, I suppose.
Right. Because they're all items. So this will be good for Cransoon if he does the purple chest, since it will give him his Fire Rod, which is definitely necessary.
For all we know, that Fire Rod could be progression, because there could be an item in that back half of Skull Woods before Mothula, and that could be the progression. So, yeah, that could.
That would be interesting. If that's their first sword, it's a hard call to make going into that back portion of Skull Woods just to get the one chest.
Yeah, definitely.
So there, Wolfie right now is in Eastern. There's 3 items he could get here, depending on if there's an item at Armos. He just got a shield for his first item.
He did. To answer a question in chat, yes, this is a bracket match for the main tournament, down to the final 16. Best 2 out of 3.
And this is their first game, as you can see from the Triforces down next to the item tracker. They have not moved up the V28 yet. We're still on V27. Yeah, I didn't see the announcement.
Oh, okay. There's the flippers in Eastern Palace. That could be progression right there.
That's nice. So now they can officially do everything related to Zora, the Waterfall Fairy, and of course they can enter and get the first chest in Swamp.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And with Fire Rod, they actually have access to about half of Ice Palace.
Oh, that is right. Yeah, they do have that as well.
So Wolfie's doing this dark room. This is a sequence break, since he's doing it in the dark. Yeah, the soft lock ad pod can still happen. Of course, it's rare. We'll have to see what happens. As far as I know, it only happened in my match during the tournament.
Yeah.
And just a red rupee. So the only progression item in Eastern was flippers, but of course, Wolfie got all 3 items there, so he's done until he needs to go get that crystal.
That is correct, and Cransoon is actually checking something new we haven't seen yet. Going to check the desert items.
Let's see. Just a red rupee on the ledge. He's going to go visit Agena, bomb his wall. And Wolfie's going to make his way over to the hobo and see what he has. Oh, and also Wolfie's only 6 rupees shy of being able to go to Zora, so I'm not sure if he might try to farm it, but it's going to be a little tricky with just a hook shot.
You might get lucky enough that one of these items is like a red rupee or something, though.
Oh,
there you go.
Which,
there you go.
So that's like a reverse hobo. Like, he's not asking for money, he's giving you money. Wolfie is... It's hard to say right now who's ahead. They both went in different locations. Cransoon right now is actually making his way to the front of Escape. Wolfie opted to go to Eastern, which resulted in flippers. So we have 2 items here at the Waterfall Ferry that Wolfie's about to pick up. Then there's 2 more items over by Zora, which is an ice rod.
Wow. Okay, both rods have been found.
Oh, Turtle Rock is starting to call. They are a hammer and a medallion away. Oh, yeah, a hammer and a medallion.
And
Turtle Rock.
And a sword, too, because you do need a sword to activate
True.
the medallion. But, yeah, pretty much.
A blue potion sitting on the ledge. It's a nice safety item, but it might take a little too much time to go pick it up.
It does open up a location, though, because they haven't gotten any bottles yet.
Oh, I thought we've seen... Yeah, that's right. Okay. So I imagine Wolfie will be picking it up since it's his first bottle. Let's see what Zora has for sale while Cransoon picks up another chest. Oh, just a bomb upgrade.
So yeah, on the slim chance that that bottle does actually lead to progression, this is a case where fake flippering could have actually been a bad idea before getting the flippers. So again, it's a very small chance that it'll lead to progression, but if it does, that could be the only bottle we'll find for a while. So
I like that Cransoon was pushing the block into the Blue Knight to kill him.
I love Samaria strats. Watching them so fun how players utilize it.
So of course he can do the 2 pot method to kill this. Ooh, okay, he's gonna use the hook shot to stun the other Green Knight.
The Green Knight was just watching as his captain fell down in that battle. Could not move or do anything.
Cransoon didn't really get anything in the front of Escape. I mean, the red boomerang is not progression. And he decided not to do the sewer chest, even though we know it has an item.
Well, he doesn't have the lamp, and even though it's not too bad to get through those 3 rooms, again, it's kind of hard to predict what those snakes are going to do in that second room, so he may just be waiting. Oh, he does have a fire rod, though. He could have lit up that room.
Yeah, but he has no magic.
Oh, that's true as well. Yeah.
Thieves has been checked. We did not see anything of worth in there, except Blind has an item, and Cransoon was unable, since he had no magic, to finish off Blind.
Oh, there's another bottle right there if you go out of logic and do the dark room without lamp.
Oh, Wolfie right away is heading to the eastern side. Well, at least he would like to head to the eastern side of Death Mountain.
I love how once that one dead rock stopped moving, the other one moved right into the same position just to continue.
All right, so Cransoon's making his way into Eastern. On the Eastern side.
Now, everything Wulfy is doing is technically not within the logic at this current point, because he needed the lantern or the flute to get up to Death Mountain. So, if there is anything up here, there's technically, I guess you could say, a missing link in between. So, you'd technically be able to find the lamp or the flute somewhere before this section.
A missing link, how appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, now that Wulfy visited Zora, he's getting all the rupees.
Yeah.
There's a lot he's going to be able to do, even though it is a sequence break. I mean, given the fact that he has Mitts and Mir, he'll be able to get over to Hera. He can, of course, do everything the Dark World, East Death Mountain. Yeah, there's a ton of items he's about to pick up.
Yeah, there really is a lot that he can do right now. And sometimes in a case like this, when it is just kind of the lamp that's blocking it, it's not too bad. Most of our players in this top 16 know how to do lampless rooms, no problem. So for a case like this, yeah, it's just kind of just doing this check a little early, I suppose.
There's the flippers for Cransoon. It looks like he's continuing it on. I mean, he has the big key. He's going to check the big chest. We'll see if he decides to do the dark room. Wulfy's about to make his way to what we call the Super Bunny chest, because there is a glitch that you can... It's a minor glitch that you can access the two chests here even without the Moon Pearl. And of course, Wulfy is a bunny, so how appropriate.
I guess Wulfy was just a super bunny this entire time.
Permanent Super Bunny. Alright, let's see what medallion is needed to get into Turtle Rock. We have Ether.
Ooh.
And let's see where Cransoon decides to go. Wulfy's just going to finish up Hookshot Cave here. Still nothing of worth. Just bombs. A lot of bombs.
Bombs, rupees, and more rupees, so yeah.
Man, all of these chests up at Death Mountain, and yet absolutely nothing in terms of progression. Oh, interesting. Wulfy's going to do Spiral Cave now, since he sort of missed it earlier. And then he'll probably do a save and quit to go to the old man, the mountain spot, and just go up the Hera there if he decides to do it. Don't worry, we'll have the stream back shortly. Excuse me. Let's see if I can pull up the individual runners while we...
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, so unfortunately I didn't see what Wulfy got. Oh, he got a sword? Oh, okay, here we go. Stream's back.
Okay. Yes, he did find a sword. I did not see where exactly it was, but that is a very good item to have. That does put Hera pretty much well within logic to do right now.
So I do want to point out, again, that's a sequence break. That could be the first sword they're supposed to find, but it might be after Flute or Lantern.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, that's the best thing they found so far up at the mountain.
Oh yeah, for sure. In open mode, yeah, you want that sword as soon as possible.
Okay, Cransoon's gonna go pick up his bomb upgrade. 500 rupee bomb upgrade. And Wulfy is making his way, and now that he has a sword, he can easily beat Moldorm. So that's I'm sure he's really glad that he picked that up right then. So that was what, a red rupee, which is one of the items. There's 2 items at Hera. Yeah, we haven't seen the sick kid yet, although Wulfy, of course, has 2 bottles.
And unfortunately, like, even though we need bottles to actually get the sick kid item, we're not actually going to give the sick kid the potion that we have, so he's unfortunately still going to be a sick kid, unfortunately.
He just, oh, nice potion. I wish I could drink that right now.
Cane of Burna in Hera.
That technically allows them to get through the Spike Cave once they can access it. And of course, Laser Bridge, that could be the progression item needed for that.
It's also a nice little safety if things get a little hairy at the blind fight or something like that.
So right now we're seeing a vanilla Moldorm fight on Wulfy's end, and Cransoon is going back towards the Village of Outcasts, and then he's going to head up towards Skull Woods with that Fire Rod. No sword, though, so he won't be able to beat Mothula.
For all we know, though, that lamp or flute could be in here, or some other progression that will take us to those locations.
Yeah, for the most part, Cransoon has been keeping within the logic, and Wulfy did a sequence break to get up here. Well, safety strats from Wulfy, using that blue cane.
Hey, if you just got it, might as well make use of it. That's what I always say.
So Wulfy did get both the items here. The only thing of worth, from what we saw, is that sword. But that's a important item. So to answer a question in chat, the game is the randomizer assumes you never need to take damage. It's basically for the one-hit KO mode. It just uses the same logic. So Spike Cave, Laser Bridge, anywhere that normally has a way to take damage, it assumes you have like the blue cane, the cape, or in the case of Laser Bridge, the mirror shield to get past it. Alright, so Cransoon's making his way through the rest of Skull Woods. I didn't see if he got an item yet. There's 2 items here total in the dungeon.
Yeah, I don't know if he has either. It was nothing substantial anyway.
Now, he's going to need some magic. Now, if he wanted to, where that big key chest that he just got, if he wanted to, he can bomb the right-hand wall, and there's a full magic refill over there.
Mm-hmm. That's always nice to get if you just need some extra.
And since Wulfy picked up his first crystal, he also has full magic because of the refill from beating the boss. And it looks like Cransoon's heading to the northern side of the Dark World here. He'll be able to see what's on the Bumper Cave Ledge, which is just a blue rupee. If he wants, he can head over to the right-hand side for the Graveyard Ledge. Looks like that's where he's heading now. Wulfy deciding to do the sort of backwards method here in Skull Woods, which is nice if you can get a small key, because then you can just use the mirror.
This is actually kind of getting me thinking right now about where that next progression will be, because after we check this, let's see, like we mentioned before, Ice Palace is technically open. There could be stuff in the first half of that. With the flippers, they can actually get to the right side of the Dark World, so that also
That's
does
true,
kind of put
yeah.
Dark Palace of Darkness and Pyramid in play.
Okay, so there was a piece of heart in the first half of Skullwood. So there's one item here. It looks like there's one in the back half, which I'm assuming Wolfie's going to go do since he has a sword.
Yeah.
He has the fire rod. You know, I'm feeling Ice Palace because usually you don't see much progression in Ice Palace. Pod is the typical V27 choice. Yeah, I'm feeling Ice. I want to see some progression in Ice.
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling Ice, just for that, just because there is a possibility the rest of the palace could be bow locked if that first chest is an item that's not a small key. So Ice does seem like a really good play right now.
I do want to point out how trolly it is if you stick the hammer in the first chest in Swamp. That is probably one of the most trolliest locations in the game for hammer. Like I say that location and Fat Fairy are the trolliest hammer locations in the game.
Yep, for sure.
Oh, just a piece of heart from the catfish, which Cransoon decides to pick up since he's a little low on hearts, and that gives him that health refill that he needed.
Fat Fairy would make it especially trolly, because if it was there, wouldn't that mean that Aghanim needs to be completed to actually get there?
That is the best thing to say. Wow, so I was going to point out, Wolfie just got his second item in Skullwoods. That's the last item. Mothula doesn't have anything but a crystal, but of course it's needed, so here goes Wolfie, going to do Fighter Sword Mothula in a moment.
Yeah, that's right.
Getting some health on the way. Cransoon's about to check the pyramid, and he'll probably make his way into Pod since he's over here. Mothula does not have an item. He has, like, I don't know, whatever we didn't see yet. Compass or map. Probably the map.
Yeah, more than likely. One of those dungeon items.
No, it's just another piece of heart for Cransoon over on the pyramid. And he's going to make his way over to visit Kiki and head into Pod. Hammerless, bowless Pod. So he won't be able to get that many chests depending on where the small keys are.
And on Wolfie's screen, we are seeing the Fighter Sword Mothula. Normally, when you have Fighter Sword, it's kind of best to start with Fire Rod, because only 8 Fire Rod shots are needed to kill Mothula, and he's even using his green potion here to get a few more shots out of that. With Fire Rod, it would take a lot longer, and you have such a short range to work with that Fighter Sword.
It's a pain with how small of a hitbox that Fighter Sword is. And there, Mothula is down. That is the second crystal for Wolfie here. He is just getting through these dungeons. Cransoon still hasn't finished the dungeon, but keep in mind, that's because Wolfie sequence broke up to Death Mountain to essentially be able to do Hera and get himself a sword, which allowed him to do Skullwoods.
Exactly. So, yeah, by playing the logic, Cransoon, I'd say, is a little behind right now, but even then, like, from just really the sword is the only major thing we got from that trip up there. So Wolfie hasn't really gotten a whole lot of progression, just the small bit of progression he got through sequence breaking.
Cransoon does get a small key on the left-hand side, which means he can continue further into the dungeon. He can access 2 more chests, probably get a small key out of it. It's very rare for both of those chests to not have a small key.
So I'm personally a little rusty at this, because whenever I go to Pod, especially in this version, I'm very, very cautious with what I do. But if there is a bow in here, and since you've kind of been the victim of a seed of that nature, what's the thought process you generally want to go with in Pod if you still don't have the bow yet?
So I like what Cransoon is doing right now. Essentially, if you get a small key, check this big key chest, mostly because you're still looking for the big key. It's really a big question of, do you want to do the bomb jump to access the big chest when you can? Ideally, if you want to save onto your keys before you have bow, you actually do want to do the bomb jump.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he didn't get a big key. He did, however, get 2 small keys, which is enough to access the back half of Pod and even get into the Dark Maze if he needs to. And ideally, he gets another small key over at the U bend, and basically he can just do everything. aside from the bow area. So it looks like this is probably not going to be a soft lock pod logic thing. But I don't. Let me see if he gets another small key before I say that.
Yeah, of course.
And Wolfie is sort of right on Cransoon's heels at this point. He's making his way over to Catfish. Might also make his way into Pod. Oh, we got the hammer!
Oh. It wasn't in that first chest, but it was in here.
Mostly vanilla hammer. And now all of Ice Palace is open to them. But good luck killing Cold Stare with no sword. You're gonna have to hammer him. Okay, there's a small key for Cransoon. This is not a pod logic soft lock thing.
Okay, that's good.
He can do everything. Telling you, progression's gonna be over it. And that chest right there that Cransoon got, and it looks like he's not doing the dark maze. Lantern can totally be at ice.
Yeah, I was actually just thinking that. Yeah, the lamp could totally be there.
Yeah, the logic always assumes you have access to 10 bombs and enough rupees to visit Zora. Like, it doesn't make that a requirement.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now it looks like Cransoon is going to make his way up the Death Mountain. Since he has Hammer, and so I guess he feels he can do all of it if he wants to. Still no medallion, of course, to go visit Turtle Rock, because they're missing that ether.
And yeah, again, this is still a sequence break, at least in terms of the logic anyway, too, because Cransoon did not find that lamp yet, or the flute, so...
I will say that doing dark rooms is easier with the sword, because you can just hold it out and use the sparkles to tell where you are. Other tricks are, you could see Cransoon doing the boomerang method. You could also use the Cane of Samaria to put a block down and basically carry that block to sort of see where you are. You can use the blue cane if you happen to have it. There's a lot of different tricks to figure out where you are in the dark.
Yeah,
I would say sword is the easiest.
And yeah, and hook shot's also pretty good with that too, because it does show you like how close you are to a wall.
Right. Yeah, Swamp. For actually, once Woofy gets his hammer, all of Swamp's open. As I mentioned, all of Ice Palace is open. So as soon as Woofy makes his way to get that hammer, which Cransoon has. So this is actually a good thing for Cransoon picking up that hammer. That may pay off.
I agree completely. That'll definitely pay off.
Especially if Woofy's waiting for the bow.
Hammer, I think, is one of those very, very big progression items, just because there are so many dungeons that are actually blocked by the hammer, dungeons that have a lot of items in them, and even just getting through some dungeons, you'll need the hammer as well, so it's definitely a good pickup whenever you can find it.
Something else I want to point out is Cransoon probably decided not to do Hera until he had some way of killing Mothula. Once he got the hammer, he can kill Mothula. It'll actually be faster, too, because it's only 3 hammer hits compared to Woofy.
I'm guessing you mean Moldorm.
What did I say?
You said Mothula.
Yes. Moldorm. They both begin with M, and I don't know. I was thinking the worm. I mean,
I've heard that mistake done a lot, honestly. So I'm just teasing you.
Apparently, I'm thinking the Randomizer, which they're showcasing on Speed Gaming 2. Okay. I don't know if that's tonight, but I know there is going to be an Randomizer.
There's actually one last night, I believe. That's because I did that one. But yeah, we'll be seeing a lot of those in the future for those dailies.
Alright, so Cransoon picks up his last item in Hera. It's a blue cane, which is nice to have. Woofy's making his way to the sewer chest. So we'll see if that's important to get, because that is one item that Cransoon skipped.
And the good thing about the items they do have in this last room right here, if they need it, they can just, equip the fire rod and light this torch that's over on the right side, and that'll allow them to see where the chest is, and also determine what the item is, since there are some items you cannot see in a dark room when you open them out of the chest.
At least they were nice enough to put those lamps here.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, he's having trouble finding the... Oh, okay, there's some ropes. There it is.
Yeah, I think those ropes just kept kind of pushing him out of the way of the chest.
Wow, just 300 rupees, so that's nothing in escape at all, back and front.
Oh, we've been saying Ice Palace this entire time, and I'm getting to the point where I'm just convinced there's something there now.
So neat thing for Wulfy to do is when he was at the pyramid to also check. I like these little things that Wulfy's putting in to basically check everything. The fact that he got a mirror and mitts so early and just combining everything. It's really neat to see.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of the pyramid into Hyrule Castle checks on some of these races, and I'm just blown away by just the routing that they put into, like they put a lot of thought into when going through these races, because Hyrule Castle is such an early location. There's always a chance for items to be there, but racers will put it off just so they can do that routing right there, which I think is phenomenal.
Right. Cransoon picks up his first sword. Unfortunately, that's all he's going to get, as far as we know, here at Death Mountain. At least until they can get into Turtle Rock. Although, given Cransoon has a hammer and a blue cane, he might do Spike Cave, which is something Wulfy wasn't able to do at the time.
Ooh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, this sea was a little bit trolly in the sword. They both sequence broke to get their first sword. So in logic, they still don't have a sword. yeah, they're not supposed to have it yet, but that's fine. Swords are good.
Mm-hmm. And as far as we know, like, the only place where that lamp or flute can be, the item that basically they needed to fill in that hole of what they sequence broke, it's either at Ice Palace or it's either at Swamp Palace now.
Wulfy opting to take a death warp so that way he can get a partial health refill. Cransoon got his sword in Spiral Cave, which is the same place Wulfy got his. Yeah, without book, we haven't been able to see Pedestal. So we have no idea what's there, if it's actually worth, which it might be. There's a bunch of things that can be there. I mean, in fact, once they get Bow, they can access Pedestal. That's the only thing they're missing right now for that.
Mm-hmm. And looking at what we have, I mean, it could be medallions, it could be, well, if they find the lamp,
is the big one.
Yeah, the flute could be there if they don't find a lamp.
Boots. Boots are an interesting one, since, I mean, it would be nice to go fast, especially when Desert doesn't require boots, because then it's like, do you want to spend the time to actually go get these?
Yeah, exactly.
And there's a hammer for Wulfy. Probably excited about that so he can make his way over to ice. Clearly, the best choice.
Well, the way he's been routing this, like, he's been just kind of going around Dark World and just kind of a giant clockwise formation. Ice Palace would be the next stop.
A nice hook dodge from Cransoon, and he is making his way over to Spike Cave. So this is something Wulfy was unable to check at the time.
This could be very, very big, especially if Wulfy does stick to this clockwise routing that he's been doing.
So a nice combination of the hook shot and the blue cane there. Right, Wulfy, I think he just picked up a Sank Heart.
I think so too, yeah. Unfortunately, Spike Cave did not pay off. Or, well, no, got a mail. That's something, I guess.
It'll help. I mean, with only 11 hearts.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we might be seeing an Ice Palace play from Cransoon.
I guess what I was thinking is that these runners are probably more than comfortable with going through with green mail, so...
Right, right. I mean, it's nice to have. It can't hurt.
For sure. I would like to see that.
Wait, did we see did Wulfy get a sword?
He did. Yep, he has the Master Sword.
In the dark!
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh. So that's so far 2 swords locked behind Lantern.
Yep, 2 swords locked behind it.
Oh my gosh. And that's something Cransoon missed because he left Pod rather than doing the dark. I mean, he didn't have a sword to help him navigate the dark maze.
And that's just making me think right now. Fighter's Sword Cold Stare. You do have the hammer to do more damage for sure, but getting that close to Cold Stare is not something I enjoy doing anyway.
And I think Wulfy's also making the Ice Pals play. He'll have a slightly easier time though with that Master Sword.
Mm-hmm.
They're basically, they've done mostly the same things. However, Wulfy has that Skull Woods advantage over Cransoon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really curious where that Lantern is. Especially it looks like Cransoon's sort of waiting for it with what he skipped.
Yeah. Alright, we're about to see a bomb jump from Cransoon. There is a bit of a setup you can do. There's stuff you can look at online, basically a picture of where you can stand for where you need to place the bomb and where you need to stand in relation to the bomb. It's not that bad essentially. Once you learn the location of where you can stand, and it's very forgiving where you can do your initial placement. Yeah, you can measure it via the sprite height. You can measure it via the distance of your sword. There's a lot of different ways you can use to set it up. I mean, we could have a Lantern and Thieves. There's 2 items, the big chest and blind, that we haven't seen. We got some half magic, which is nice to have. Especially here, yeah, because some extra fire rod shots for Cransoon would be really, really helpful right now. I mean, that by itself can take care of Cold Stare. He'll have 8 shots after he opens up the ice, and then he still has Hammer to finish it off in case, it misses. That's a great find. Yeah. There are 3 items here in Ice Palace. We saw, of course, one of them being half magic. No progression yet. So Wulfy opting to do it's the same route essentially Cransoon ended up taking. It's just that he's going to go get his half magic after he checks this right-hand side here. Oh, there's the ether. Ooh, ether.
We suddenly have access to Turtle Rock.
We do.
Mega full clear, except they don't have Lantern. Oh my gosh, I have seen a seed where Lantern was up at Turtle Rock. Now, it can't be this time because we don't have Flute. And that's all 3 items actually for Cransoon, since he's just got 50 rupees. But it is
yeah.
progression. I did call progression in Ice Palace.
Yeah, you did. Which means I wouldn't be surprised if there's something in Swamp now, because they also have access to that. There's also the last 2 chests in Thieves Town too, so there are a few places.
So yeah, we have the pendant dungeons, since you mentioned Thieves and Swamp. They can do... I don't know. We'll have to see if they decide to do pendants or if they go up to Turtle Rock.
Yeah.
Oh, he skipped the big key. Was big key in the Dark Maze? In Pod?
I don't know. I believe they got the same chest until Wolfie went into the Dark Maze, at the very least.
Ooh, careful there. Hugging the cold stare puffs hurts.
He is opting to use that blue potion that he got from the from Zora Ledge, I believe.
Definitely one of the best places to actually use your potion. Like anything to make this fight easier. They just deal so much damage. The game essentially expects you to have blue mail, and if you come in here with green mail, now not for Cransoon, but I don't think Wolfie picked up his mail upgrade, did he? No.
Nope,
So
he's in Spike Cave, so
right. Of course, he has Master Sword.
oh, and great placement for the buffs right there. Getting a lot of shots in with that fire rod.
No problem. Master Sword and Fire Rod making quick work of Cold Stare. Wolfie picks up his Ice Palace Crystal. So both of our runners done there. Curious where Cransoon's making his way to right now.
And you can just see, like, the difference of Fighter Sword and Master Sword, because Cransoon was a decent way into Ice Palace, and then right as he finished Cold Stare, Wolfie entered Cold Stare and finished him very quickly, so
it looks like he's actually making his way over to Skull Woods right now. And Wolfie going up to Mountain Cave, he might be going into Turtle Rock.
that's possible, yeah.
It is a crystal dungeon. And with Mirror, they can also go visit Mimic Cave.
Wolfie might be banking on the fact that the item that would get him up here is Lamp, and like I said before, these runners, they know their dark rooms very well. I feel like they'd have to get to this point in the tournament, so that's probably not even like a blip on his radar right now, so he's just thinking, let me just get Turtle Rock out of the way. There's 5 items up here. These versions of the logic have been putting a lot of progression in Turtle Rock, so why not take a chance on it?
I mean, right now, given what we haven't seen, I think Lantern is either somewhere in Thieves or somewhere in Swamp.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it could be the flute, but like you said, they have to make some assumptions here. The big items they're looking for right now is bow and the flute. We don't know what medallion is needed for Meyer yet, and we don't even know if boots are actually required. So 2 things they're definitely looking for, and the rest are nice to have.
Mm-hmm, pretty much.
So at least Cransoon will eventually be... He should be getting his Master Sword after he gets his bow and maybe the lantern. Just the fact that the big key in Pod is back there too. I don't see him skipping that. So yeah, half magic, Fire Rod, Mothula, no problem. You just gotta dodge those spikes. We're gonna see a hammer on Mothula. There he goes.
Yeah, that hammer hitbox can be kind of hard to work with in this fight, but once you get that hit, it does do tempered damage, tempered sword damage, so definitely enough to finish off that fight.
A nice early big key for Wulfy and Turtle Rock. But since he's going to check everything, he's still going to check the big key chests. And yeah, Cransoon now evening up things in terms of crystals. And he has to pick up this item here still, since we know it's an item. We saw Wulfy get it earlier.
All that for a red rupee.
Yeah, this seed has been interesting. It started out, it was very generous, and now it's really making you work for the last couple of items. I mean, the fact they had to go into pod just to get the hammer, and for all we know, hammer's blocking bow. Like, if we happen to find the bow in Turtle Rock... Oh, we get a book instead!
Okay.
So, Wulfy can easily access both of the tablets, since he has Master Sword. And of course, that's access to desert right now.
That is. Now, like we said earlier, boots could be a requirement to actually finish desert. And there's even a possibility that just going into desert won't heal anything if you get like the compass in that one room. But it is something. It gives us intel for sure.
Now, I don't think Wulfy even went to Aegina. I think that was just Cransoon, wasn't it?
I believe so, yes. Once Wulfy got the fire rod, he decided to move on and check other things.
So yeah, that might be an incentive for him. He also just picks up Quake in the big key chest, which could be needed for Meyer for all we know. Yeah, this is an out of sequence. They technically don't have access to Death Mountain just yet. But, you know, they sequence broke up here, and that's fine. Get some good stuff, like a sword, now book, and some Quake.
A bottle at one point.
That's right.
A cane of Burna.
Alright, Cransoon also making his way. Unfortunately, he only has a fighter sword, so this will be a little trickier for him. So I will point out that there's 5 items within Turtle Rock. There's also Mimic Cave as an additional item. And we've only seen, what, 1 so far? No, book 2. 2, book and Quake. There's more 300 rupees. I guess they don't have to kill Aghanim after all. It's just a heart container for Wulfy. So that's 3 items so far that we've seen in Turtle Rock. Yeah, they haven't even went into Swamp. They can full clear it whenever they want. It looks like they're prioritizing crystal dungeons, which is fine. You have to do them anyway. Especially something like Turtle Rock here, you're not really wasting time. Like, okay, you wasted a little bit of time checking out Mimic Cave, and maybe because you don't have boots yet, but honestly, you're gonna have to do this anyway. Oh, that was Sankheart.
Uh-oh.
I thought we saw Sankheart in Pod.
Well, no, like... that.
Oh, that might have been a piece of heart.
Yeah, I think that was a piece of heart.
Okay. Man, chat getting mad that I didn't point out that was Sankheart.
Yeah, typically with Swamp Palace, I mean, in this case, it's dependent. So yeah, like you said, they're valuing crystal dungeons anyway. But even when it is a crystal, that's the type of dungeons that runners will just kind of save for last anyway, just because of the go mode potential for it. So here, they're just probably thinking, I don't really want to go to Swamp if I don't have to.
Alright, making through the final dark room in Turtle Rock. It's going to make his way over to the laser bridge area. Oh, just missing the bumper enemy. I forget, the beetle I think we call them beetles.
Yeah, I'm not sure of the exact name either, but I always hear beetle.
So he does do a safety. Leave the... Oh, and well, good thing he actually opened that cave.
Yeah.
So that way he's able to start right there where he left. No big deal. That's like 4 hearts of damage from a laser. Bug net one of our items in Turtle Rock, so there's only one more thing here. So Wolfie's looking for a small key, and of course the last item. There's the last item, so book, possibly progression?
Possibly, yeah. That seems very likely, but... Okay, wait, they got the Master Sword was in the Dark Room and Pod, though, so in a way it's not really progression.
Well, yeah, it's sequence broke progression.
Yeah, it's a weird concept, but yeah.
I mean, if Lantern is somewhere, that gives them access to Death Mountain. It gives them access to get that Master Sword. So it's still essentially behind Lantern.
Right.
Well, DP is, but the location of the sword was behind the Dark Room. So yeah, it's still behind Lantern. It's a special that it's not even behind Flute. It's definitely behind Lantern.
Mm-hmm.
And with half magic, Wolfie's not even worried about using Master Sword strats. Although he does have to be careful. 4 hearts. He has green mail. Oh no!
Oh, that ice that ice did not help right there.
Now, if he opted to do Hammer, Hammer does the same damage as Tempered, so it would be 5 hits with the Hammer, roughly, since Fire Rod technically does some damage to the Ice Head. But instead, he decided to use Magic. Now he's really low. Luckily, there is a Magic refill on the way, so it's not that big of a deal. He just has to watch out his health. 4 hearts of damage from Trinex right now with the Green Mail.
Yeah, and again, he would have avoided it just fine if it wasn't for that ice path, which slowed him down as soon as he stepped on it.
Alright, round 2 on Trinex. Okay, now we're seeing some hammer strats. As I mentioned, 5 hits with the hammer. A little bit more menuing, but it's also, I would say, safer. Actually, and that's sort of neat. Wolfie hit the spike instead of being hit by the head, and the spike only does 1 heart of damage, so it's better to hit the spike than it is Trinex. Oh no, careful, Wolfie.
I think he'll be okay here, though, but he does have to be careful. If he just gets caught out off guard a little bit, that'll be another rip, and then Cransoon would technically be in the lead again.
Oh, he's taking the safety, but he's not taking a chance.
Okay, that's good, that's good.
Well, it's a good thing, too. He did hit a spike. There goes Trinex. Now, of course, no item here. I think it's just a compass at this point. Cransoon beginning his match. He's also doing hammer strats on Trinex. So yeah, hopefully we'll see our runners, at least one of them, head over to Ether Tablet, since they can access it right now. Oh, Cransoon just unloading his fire rod on the ice head.
Hey, it saves time on menuing, I guess.
We're about to see a fighter spin on Trinex. Oh my gosh. Fighter sword. Turtle Rock is not a thing you normally see. And there goes Hammer. 5 hits with the hammer. Wolfie is making his way over to Ether Tablet. He's gonna get whatever item is there.
Might also hop down to Spike Cave to get that blue mail, too.
That's true, he hasn't done it yet. And yeah, this basically catches up our runners at this point.
Yeah, for sure. Cransoon still needs that Master Sword from the Dark Maze and Pod, but aside from that, yeah, very, very even right now.
Well, if he does equip his Hammer, he's going to go to Spike Cave since he hasn't done it yet. Yep, Wolfie's about to get his blue mail.
Cransoon's not going to be able to get the item, but he'll see it's not an item he needs. It is just like an arrow, bunch of arrows. So
yeah, he'll be able to read it though. He doesn't have to wait for the animation since of his fighter sword. Yeah, Swamp is a long dungeon. I can understand why they're putting it off. And there's a blue mail. I'm sure Wolfie wishes he had that before he went to Turra. And here we go, save and quit, pretty much at the same time. Our runners have caught up to each other, except for that Master Sword difference.
They are both starting from Link's house, too, so might be what the audience has been wanting for a really, really long time now. They might be going to Swamp.
I'm sort of curious if Wolfie's going to check the tablet first, or if he's just going to write in the Swamp.
For chat, Mirror was very, very early. I believe they got it when they were still in Kakariko, so very early Mirror.
Yeah, Lamb totally could be in Swamp right now. I think it's either Thieves or Swamp at this point.
Okay, Cransoon actually opting to go to Desert.
He's going right away, and he's already checked the genus, so he's going right in. Wolfie gonna check the tablet here. Maybe he'll also do Desert.
Maybe it is just a hop down. Still out of sequence, though.
Yeah, they're choosing the sequence break path over the go to Swamp.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Wolfie getting that Agana check in, because he did not do this earlier, as we mentioned.
Those bombs are a sequence break, put them back. I'm not supposed to have these yet.
Well, we do get a key in here, so there is some possibility we'll get something, but
They might not need boots.
yeah, Wolfie going over here to Desert Palace as well.
Yeah, he hasn't even checked these things, so he just scoped out the ledge, see it's nothing important. A mushroom.
Big key on torch.
Yeah. But mushroom, though, could it be something?
Well, we know it's not going to be the initial Death Mountain progression, but it could be something.
Oh my gosh. This seed just doesn't make it easy. We saw nothing at the tablets, and we got this fetch quest item. Oh, we haven't seen hammer pegs yet either, because when they did the dwarf,
That is correct.
Hammer pegs could also be lantern or flute. Oh, could Cransoon decide to do the magic powder skip? Maybe.
He has the mushroom, so...
Oh, interesting. Wolfie picks up the... Now, we know Big Key has to be on the torch, given what happened.
Right.
But I guess he's checking it? And there's the Big Key on the torch.
Yeah.
So this hammer pegs, this is not the sequence break, but he might do it. We'll have to see if he goes into Magic Bat. They have checked Catfish. It was Piece of Heart, I think.
Yes, I believe so. Just Red Rupee.
Okay, Wolfie heading towards the right. I'm guessing he's gonna drop off his mushroom right away. And yeah, Cransoon make his way to Magic Bat. He's gonna do this glitch that was found out relatively recently, where you can basically use up all of your magic and essentially use the mushroom to check the Magic Bat.
Yep.
Because they occupy the same space. You use the cane and then you quickly switch to mushroom and use it, the game thinks you're putting powder on there.
Right, yeah. It's kind of similar to how the mirror block thing works, right? Where you kind of use it, and then the game assumes you're doing something, but you're not. Or...
Right.
Okay.
All right, so neither of our runners actually got anything of worth from their checks. From there, I guess it's a fetch quest check for both of them.
Yeah, because Wolfie got the fire shield, does not progress, so Swamp is calling your name,
my
guys.
gosh, they are just avoiding Swamp though right now.
So, okay, Cransoon is here. Is he gonna check thieves before he goes to Swamp?
Oh, he might. And Wolfie's also making his way to Village of Outcasts.
Oh my gosh.
So they're choosing thieves over Swamp. Why? Why do our runners hate Swamp? There are 6 items in Swamp, but it's also really time consuming. That is the major thing. It's a pendant dungeon. It's time consuming. But yeah, it's not even a Sahasrahla pendant. So yeah, it's just that time difference. But there's so many items.
And like I get it from doing so many seeds on my own time, me just always under the assumption that Swamp does have a lot of items. Let me go here, but then you just get 6 items you don't need whatsoever, and you feel like you waste so much time. And especially this far in the seed, I feel like that always ends up being the case. So that's why I see so many runners just not do anything with it until they either have to go mode it or just not have to do it at all.
All right, so Cransoon's going to be able to pick up 2 items here. Since he was here earlier, he didn't have Hammer, he didn't beat Blind. Wulfy, meanwhile, will get 3 items, but of course, we already saw that it was not worth for that 1 item Cransoon already got.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. Here's one thing our runners were unable to get earlier. It's a heart.
Okay, all that for just a heart.
Oh my gosh, if Blind has the progression, Cransoon is going to feel like he's way behind. Since he had he had to leave.
He did. He might also just be thinking that because, like, he didn't have a sword at that point, and they have to know that they sequence broke for both of their swords. Or, well, one of Cransoon's.
You can kill Blind with Cane.
Yeah. It's a hard call. I never know what these runners are thinking until the interview, at least.
So far, nothing in Thieves. We're about to see what Blind drops because he does have an item. Here we go. Moment of truth. It's a boomerang! Go to Swamp, please!
Go to Swamp already.
They've put it off for so long, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, we've seen everything else. And just think about this from within logic. You had to go to Pod to pick up your hammer. Of course, you had Hookshot. They got flippers early, right? That was...
Yes, I'm trying to remember where exactly they got them. It was pretty early, though.
All right, Cransoon. No! Where are you go? What is going on?
Oh, flippers were in Eastern, I think.
Oh, so you had to go into Eastern. So imagine if Bo is in Swamp right now. That means you had to enter both Bo locked dungeons, get the items to go actually do Swamp. Oh, he's checking Mushroom first. So that's actually neat, taking the portal. I do like the way our runners are using these portals to get around slightly faster when they don't have Flute. So he's going to check out Mushroom here. He might take the water portal right back to go, if he's choosing to go to Swamp.
One thing that might be interesting is if the bow is actually in, like, that first chest before you need the hammer. Because then it would, like, be forcing a double dip well, I guess he would be anyway because of the flippers, but... Bow early in Swamp, that would be kind of funny.
I think this is what they sort of call a shade seed, since apparently he has the luck of commentating these types of seeds, where it starts out really nice. You get all of these items. It looks like a jet seed, but then it's like it trolls you.
Yep.
They've been working. It's 1 hour, 20 minutes in. There's still 2 items at the least away. No, 3. Sorry, they need boots. They are 3 items away from go mode.
Yep, that's true.
All right, so Wulfy, since he didn't do hammer pegs, he's making his way there. Cransoon finally heading into swamp.
Okay.
Wait, what? Can I not call it a shade seed? I'm not allowed to commentate this. I commentated with shade, and it ended up being a shade seed. It was so weird.
I've done 3 shade seed or 3 comms with shades. All 3 of them had trolls. So yeah, it's uncanny how he does it, but it happens.
All right, so Wulfy is not doing the sequence break to check the magic bat. And I think he's also going to make his way over to swamp. Now, he's slightly behind at this point, but he does have that sword difference.
Thankfully, I'd say that Master Sword are.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
It's the first item! You didn't even need hammer to get it. You just needed... They had it from the beginning. They had hook shot... Well, no, flippers. You needed to go into Eastern to get flippers, to come to Swamp, to get the bow, so you can go back and beat Eastern. What the heck is this seed?
And they still don't even have Lantern yet.
No, we don't know where Lantern is, and the bow didn't actually unlock any extra... No! Lantern can right now be in the right-hand side of Pod.
Yep, that's what I was thinking.
Wow.
I almost wish the hammer would have been a little further in Pod, in like one of the dark rooms, because that would have been even funnier.
So that actually, the chat brings up a good point. The question of, you're in a pendant dungeon, you just got something of worth. Do you continue, or do you just mirror out? Now, I personally still continue because I've seen too many seeds doing a pendant dungeon, and there happens to be 2 progression items in there.
Yeah, there are a lot of different schools of thought. And
he's thinking about it.
Yeah, I think he is going to continue, though, just because, like, you might be okay with doing, like, dark rooms, but there's also you need the flute as well. So it's like, yeah, probably best you don't leave this just yet.
Yeah, there's too many things they still need. 2 items at the least that they still need for progression, or to get in the go mode. Of course, now that they have bow, they can beat Pod. I don't know how many items are left in Pod. We know there's no more items in Eastern.
Yeah.
They're still looking for that flute and boots. Yeah, Pedestal's not dead yet. Until we see what Mire is needed, but even boots can be on there.
And because, like, we're finally getting sent in certain directions, yeah, this could almost be telling them that, hey, there is something in the pedestal, because they basically just completed, like, 3 pendant dungeons immediately.
That's true.
They have the possibility of doing that anyway, so...
Yeah, we should point out pedestal is currently possible. Now that they finally got that bow at 1 hour and 20 minutes in.
And both actually taking different routes through Swamp. Wulfy opting to do the full clear in one go, while Cransoon going straight to the boss to re-enter and then get the left side.
So we did get a map earlier in Swamp here, which means there's at least 1 item on the left-hand side.
Mm-hmm.
The ideal swamp seed, I would say, is where you get like big key early in one of the first 2 chests, and all of the items are like straight back, like map and compass on left-hand side. So that means you never have to visit this time-consuming part that Wulfy's doing here. But with map early, like I said, there's something here. Silver arrows
nice.
on Argus, no problem. He gets a red rupee for his trouble, and 1 step closer to that pedestal.
That's right.
Man, are we gonna see a blind pull of pedestal right now?
Probably. I wouldn't.
Like with Cransoon, he might. If he doesn't get anything of worth over at Pod. Oh, he's gonna go finish. He knows there's an item over there. It's the lantern! There it is! Sequence break complete!
Everything is back on sequence now.
How long have they been on this sequence break right now? I feel like I've been a broken record talking about it for like the past hour.
I think that's when it was, because you gotta remember, Wulfy was taking the door to the swordsmith at the 10-minute mark, and I think he went to Eastern after that, and I think not long after that was when he did make the play on Death Mountain, so it has been like an hour. I'm pretty sure.
So Compass is in the big chest. Once Wulfy's done here, that means he should have all the items. He doesn't have to visit the big chest anymore, so that's nice for him. And then he'll be able to go, you know, right to Eastern and Pod. So yeah, Pedestal Dream is currently alive. We can see Boots there. We can see Bombos. We can see Flute. Like, those would be the possible progression items. We're not even sure about Bombos.
Yeah, because as we mentioned, we're not going to get anything out of Eastern anymore, and Pod doesn't have very many items left, so that's just 1 progression item. So there very well could be something on.
I will point out, it was a required double dip of Eastern, not Pod. Theoretically... Oh no, because of the lantern. Yeah, because you need hammer to access that lantern. So yeah, the logic assumed this was a double dip of Pod.
Mm-hmm.
Theoretically, you could have checked, because why not? You could have checked the first chest in Swamp, got the bow, and left, and you would have been okay. You would have missed out on lantern. Which I know Wulfy has shown he's fine doing dark rooms, so
yeah.
he could have like never picked it up. Cransoon sort of avoided it, but it's probably because of his lack of sword, which makes it, like I said, harder to navigate in the dark.
But she might be getting his 2nd sword soon. If he stops over there anyway, I hope he would.
Alright, and that is it for Cransoon. He is done with Swamp. Yeah, Pod is a pending dungeon, but there's still, I think, at least 1 item there. For Cransoon, there's going to be more than 1 item because he never got whatever's in the Dark Maze. So I feel like there's going to be an incentive for him. Of course, both of our runners do need to do Eastern.
Before he goes over there, he is going to check the Bombos tablet, though. Not going to be able to get it, but he doesn't mind. He doesn't have to see that animation, so...
Alright, there is Wulfy's 2nd pendant. Mostly in sync again, with Wulfy's Master Sword helping him catch up a little bit. And he has less to do in Pod, actually. If there's still an item there, he only has to do the right-hand side. Cransoon still has to walk all the way to the back Dark Maze.
Yeah, so I'd say Wulfy is a little ahead, but not by much, because they are going to be in the same place at the same exact time, and at that point, anything can happen.
Oh, interesting. So Cransoon did a save and quit. Wulfy opted to just walk over here, but it does mean he has to do the hammer pegs. Cransoon had to walk down to the portal, so it's actually interesting to see, like, they're going to end up going into Pod at about the same time.
Yeah, probably, yeah, for sure.
So we caught up. Our runners have caught up to each other for the most part. Oh my gosh. If they both pull the pedestal at the same time, chat is gonna go crazy. We are flute and boots away from go mode at the least.
Yeah, bombos could still be required. There might need a fetch quest item to get the other items, so...
Yeah, because we still have that shovel. We don't know where that is.
Right.
All right, In Sync going in. Wulfy going right to the right-hand side, of course, since these are the only 2 chests he hasn't checked. He did everything else here. In Sync bomb throw. Look at this. This is great.
My gosh.
Oh.
My god. Synced again.
This is so good.
They had different menuing in that room at different times, and they still exited the room at the same exact time.
This whole section right now. All right, what do we got? The cake. That's nothing right now, as far as we know.
Nope. Because I think we did see the item. I think it was like a blue rupee or something. So
there must be an item still here if Wulfy's still going. So here's the difference. Cransoon hasn't done this, and he doesn't have the big key yet, or his sword. So he has to go get it. Meanwhile, Wulfy is forging ahead, so suddenly Wulfy is now ahead. They just trade back and forth, like within a minute of each other.
See, like you mentioned, like they're gonna continue, but there's like not much else they can do. I think this is it for both of them. I think they have to be here at this point.
Yeah, there has to be progression. It's either at the pedestal or it's on Helmasaur or Sahasrahla at this point.
Right.
We're seeing a bomb jump from Cransoon. It's just a little further. I think he's 1 pixel. There he goes. I mean, both Flute and Boots would be trolly at pedestal right now. So I'm gonna opt for if we want maximum troll, we want to see Boots there. Because if they get Flute here, they might not check pedestal for a bit.
Right.
If Flute is there, I mean, they're gonna have to go there to unlock locations. All right, Wulfy gonna tackle King Helmasaur.
Cransoon finally having that Master Sword.
The fact that they're this close to each other, and Cransoon's just been sitting on that Fighter Sword, that's really good.
Oh yeah, for sure. And one of the biggest indicators was the Trinex fight. Just having Fighter Sword and only doing that in one go. Cransoon did catch up a lot of time.
Oh my gosh!
And what are those? Chat, what are those?
Wow. Wait, what did we see? We saw just a mushroom in desert. So there's still one more item over at desert.
Yeah, there is.
They could check Flanctuary and King's Tomb. They have that green pendant and they have pedestal as well. One of those might be Flute.
Would be kind of a shame after all of that and the pedestal still not being necessarily required, though.
It's so close. It's so close to being possible. Now, Cransoon is not far behind.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, Eastern's a really, really quick dungeon. Wulfy's tearing through it, but Cransoon's going to be tearing through it, too. Heck, just depending on how they decide to check their boot locations after this, that could also make a difference.
I'm mostly curious what our racers are thinking right now. They have no idea where their opponent is. They might say, hey, if my opponent went in the swamp earlier, rather than doing Turtle Rock or something, they're going to be way ahead. They're going to have the bow, they're going to have boots, So right now they could be worried. We're 130 in, still not in go mode. Our opponents, our racers have no idea, where their opponent is and what to do. We might see some gambles still, like in Ganon's Tower. They're so close to each other, yet I know, like, if I were playing the seed right now and I was in one of our racers' position, I would be feeling way behind. I'm like, I'm 130 in, I'm not in go mode. Swamp had the item, like, what the heck?
Yeah, like, as a runner, you have to be thinking that at this point, I'd imagine.
Right, so we have Flanktuary, we have the bonk locations, Flanktuary, King's Tomb, we have the Sahasra Pendant, we have Pedestal, and we have Desert for Flute. Any of those locations.
And all those locations are just one-off items, too.
Alright, here we go. A green pendant check. Oh, just a bomb upgrade. And then I think he's going to start at Sanctuary and check his bonk locations right away. Maybe even make his way over to Pedestal when he's done here before he goes to Desert.
Yeah, I'd imagine so, because he'd definitely be closer there as opposed to just starting straight from the house to get to Desert. And if it's Flute they're going to get from this, then yeah, you may as well check Pedestal.
Yeah, nice thing about Flute being in one of these locations that you can go activate it right away. A Fairy Bottle. Chat, we're getting close to that pedestal. You right now you're hoping there's nothing in the bonk rocks here at Flanktuary. No, just a red ruby.
Okay, here we go, guys.
We're down to pedestal and one item in Desert. Wulfy is making his way into Lost Woods. It's happening. Oh, did he skip Aghanim? Oh, he skipped checking Lumberjacks.
He did.
This long. Right. We're like 140 in, and he's finally checking. Can you imagine if Flute was sitting there for him? Cransoon finishing off Eastern, picking up his crystal.
And he had another time to check, too, because, yeah, he took a slightly different routing path at the beginning, but he did go to Death Mountain, so he also opted to skip it then, too.
So Fat Fairy is not an option at all.
No, it's not.
All right, chat. Here we go. It's pedestal time. Is this the Flute?
It's in Desert!
Oh my gosh. It's at Desert. Cransoon is heading there right now! That pedestal's gonna put Wulfy behind slightly! They are like 2 screens apart right now.
Oh my gosh. And it's got to be the Flute at this point, too. Because,
it is. This is the only location left for Flute. Oh my gosh. Oh, and can you imagine the logic as well? Since they had to actually go to Turtle Rock first to get this book, and it looks like Flute is going to be here. It totally required you to Turtle Rock early.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we just didn't know it at the time, but this is the progression.
It is, yeah. And at this point, you got to imagine that this race is just going to come down to execution at this point, because if there is a chance that Meyer does have like the Bombos medallion, the Bombos is going to be in the Meyer area.
Yeah.
So they're going to be checking the same locations. From
there it is.
And yep, there's Flute.
There is Flute. So we've entered mostly go mode. Once we see Meyer, it'll be go mode, but oh my god.
I almost think at this point
Wulfy
we can call it
left?
go mode.
Oh, he's gonna go backwards? Because it's a crystal dungeon, you have to go do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's what he's thinking. Well,
so
hard to say.
He can do the mirror. He can do desert right away from the back rather than going down to the entrance. So maybe he feels he'll save a little bit of time. I think it's too close to tell. It's how much you have to walk like outside of Meyer compared to just doing it like Cransoon is. So we'll have to see once our racers sync up again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say it's about the same regardless. Like, I mean, Cransoon's gonna have to make that walk back there anyway, and yeah, it's about the same, I'd say.
Okay, yeah, so he's going to do it. It's Ether, so Quake was not needed.
Or Bombos.
Okay, and he's going to do Desert first. So we'll see. Basically, what we're looking for, chat, is the time that our racers enter Meyer. That's the difference right now.
Yeah. Cransoon does have to go back, have to activate his flute, but Wulfy had to do that too. That's why he is kind of looks behind right now, but...
That's true. I should mention, chat, we have entered Go Mode for both of our racers at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Well,
1 hour, 40-minute Go Mode. This was not a jet seed.
It started that way, but then it just kind of morphed into a shade seed, I guess.
So Wulfy making use of his half magic. Normally you'd want to just do 2 fire rod shots so you have enough to use on Lammo, but you know, you have half magic, and it looks like he's not switching to silvers anyway. So it's 2 fire rod shots per worm, Lammo, whatever the singular of Lammolas is.
Lamnoli, I don't know.
Okay, Wulfy gets his Desert Crystal. Cransoon just activated his Swag Duck. They're basically gonna enter. Oh, he missed the duck!
Ow! It was right there! So Wulfy might actually be a little... it's gonna be the same exact time, isn't it?
Get your kitchen sinks out, here we go.
No way!
Oh my gosh! The sink. No, he got trolled with the murder dactyl.
Oh no!
Oh my gosh!
We might actually see a bird toss because of that.
All right, he enters at 08. Cransoon bird tossing about 15. He's 7-second difference between our runners right now. It's all coming down to execution, and of course, where the heck that big key is here. So yeah, they're looking for nothing here. I mean, sure, it'd be nice if they get a sword, but more than likely they're gonna get that big key and just go. They have that. They probably have that fear. They have no idea where their opponent is. I know. I've been in Wulfy's shoes before. Blind pulling the pedestal. You're feeling like you pretty much lost.
Yeah, for sure.
Cransoon only leaving a few items left, so he's probably feeling a little better. But still, with how late they got Bo, thinking the same thing. Like, my opponent's probably way ahead. Why haven't they done? Big key on the spike chest, which is like the best location right now.
Oh my gosh.
If Cransoon loses by like 2 seconds, then we can blame the bird toss.
Yes, yeah, that bird toss is only going to come into play, and that's the case.
Look at this. They are like 2 screens away. This is incredible. And with how much the route diverged at the very beginning.
It really did, yeah. It diverged quite a bit. Little high five right there.
I feel like we're going to be seeing a lot of those soon.
Yeah, pretty much.
Look at this. We're getting a full dungeon clear right now. We've done all the dungeons. With Wulfy pulling the pedestal, Cransoon getting enough to do the pedestal, but skipping it. Honestly, I think Wulfy made a good choice. He checked the most items he could with checking all the bonk locations.
Yeah, that's true. He's covered more ground and is, at this point, ahead. Tempered Sword on the Vitreous drop.
Alright, chat. With that being the last crystal, it's time to start putting your guesses in for where you think the big key in Ganon's tower is. So, given how close our racers are, I'm going to say we're going to look at Wulfy's screen, I guess, and try to get a count.
Yeah, it's whoever enters first, I believe.
So pick a number between 1 and 22 where you think the big key is, based on whatever route they decide to go.
At this point, I normally guess at 8, but at this point, I think it's both going to be tile room. It's going to be tile room, and they're both going to check the same exact locations, with tile room being last.
Oh my gosh!
That's how this is.
With how close they are too. Like, what is this? About 46. Wulfy goes upstairs. They're 6 seconds apart right now. 6 seconds.
Gained a second after that bird toss fiasco, so.
I mean, I'm going to guess it's actually going to be in chest number 8. I think it's going to be pretty early. The seed trolled our racers enough. It's going to be generous.
Okay, that's fair.
Of course, that also makes it interesting depending on, like, if someone does Dark Magician strats or checks right-hand side. Like, right now, this is what it's coming down to. They are so close.
They are. It's ridiculous how close they are. After such a huge route divergence, too. Wulfy going to Death Mountain as soon as he could, sequence breaking in the process. Cransoon also sequence breaking, but much later on, and then just still somehow coming back together after all of that.
All right, Wulfy going in at 54. 0-0. Little less than 6 seconds right now. Wulfy goes right, Cransoon going right. This is the first 2 chests. No small key, so they don't have to go. They can't go right away since both of our runners decide to do these 2 chests. They're doing the classic.
Yeah.
Nothing. Bob's lamp, which means we will get to say hi to Bob if they make it that far. A bunch of small keys. There's a shovel. Of course, they're not going to be digging up the big key. And Bombos was here the whole time. So that's 7 locations so far. No big key. Here's my guess. Right here. Come on, double fire bars. No, I think that's vanilla, isn't it?
I believe it's either the map or compass. I think the compass is that one on the right side. I don't know for sure though.
Powder? Did they get powder? I don't think they got powder.
Yeah, I didn't see powder in that room on the menu when he transitioned to it.
All right, there was number 9. How does he have powder? Got it at Dark. What?
Yeah,
No,
there's no
no.
power in menu. I didn't think there was.
He did the mushroom glitch. Yeah. Oh, there it is!
There it
Number
is.
12! 12 for Wulfy.
And 12 for Cransoon, I believe.
Wow,
as well.
it's the same. All right, Wulfy going up at 19 seconds. Let's see. Cactar is our winner. First one to put in number 12.
Okay, it is straight execution at this point. I don't imagine they'll check any chests. Tempered Sword Cannon is not too bad, and pretty fast regardless, so...
He's a bird toss behind. Let me save this. It's all coming down to this execution in Ganon's Tower right now. Wulfy only ahead by seconds. By seconds.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice dash there through the cannonballs. Oh, Cransoon takes fall. That's okay, because he can dash now with the invulnerability.
Yeah. Just unfortunate that Wulfy did not run into that.
I mean, like, Gauntlet is making a difference right now with how they execute this part.
Yeah.
Oh no, Wulfy getting trolled a little bit there. Cransoon. Nice. Nice.
Oh,
roll.
that was beautiful.
Whatever those enemies are called. Wulfy has no need. Well, he has no power, so he can't even get a fairy if he wanted to. But oh no, one cycle Lambo. Here comes Cransoon. Let's see what he opts to do. We're going upstairs at 12 seconds in. 12 seconds on the thing. Oh no, Cransoon only gets one of the worms. 2 cycle. Oh no.
Ooh. It's getting away from him a little bit.
Oh, that's oh man. Looks like we're seeing about 24 seconds. Right?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
He's like 3 bird tosses behind now.
But I mean, just a fall at Trolldorm could bring it back to being even, though. So.
Oh my god, everything right now. And with both of our runners having tempered, they're gonna do a relatively fast cannon, but it can still go. If one of our runners gets a 1 cycle versus the other getting 2, this is so close.
Yep. Ooh, got kind of lucky right there because he missed the fire rod shot at first.
So he's waiting. So Cransoon was waiting there so that way he doesn't despawn the sprites in Ganon's Tower. If you go up the moment the door shuts, that where you hear that sound cue that the door has shut, you despawn all the sprites in Ganon's Tower and you have to start over. You really don't want that to happen. Okay, Wulfy skipping. Thank you. Skipping that chest. We do not acknowledge. Well, I don't acknowledge that chest.
At this point, he really shouldn't, just because no dot done yet. You have to think that, okay, I can't take any chances.
No Dairy Queen in this chat. Come on. This is a race. What if it was Buttersword? It's a piece of heart, but no health refill for Cransoon. That would have been nice, actually. Ooh, decent.
Yeah.
I think he got, what, 2 and 2 so far?
Yes. And it looked possible to get a double triple on those first 2 phases, so Cransoon could make some distance here.
Well, we'll have to get a timer check when they go into Ganon.
There's one of the triples right there.
Oh my gosh. Oh, so close. So close. That would have been great. Even getting a double right there, because he could have gotten a single here.
Yeah. So about the same Aghanim fight, but...
Alright, Wulfy heading in 57.
Oh, nice location right there.
Ooh, we're seeing some dash strats. A little bit of spin. And Cransoon at 23. So what did I say? 58 and 23. That's about 25 seconds.
Yeah, a little under 30 seconds. Yeah, around then.
All right, Wulfy already on to phase 3. This is coming down to the last phase of Ganon. Someone getting like a double or a triple.
Yeah.
Oh, careful, Cransoon. Taking a bit. Ooh, just
that was
really
close.
avoiding that.
As soon as he finished drinking the potion, he immediately took a hit. So that was how close that was to being a death.
Wulfy missing the torch guts, but no big deal when you have silvers. There's the double. There's the double. There's the last shot. Wulfy finishing off Ganon. GG to him as long as he doesn't walk off the bridge.
And while Cransoon is in phase 3 as well.
Oh my gosh. Just one more hit from Ganon to push him into phase 4.
And he does finish with an SRL time of 1 hour, 56 minutes, and 31 seconds. GG, Wulfy.
So Cransoon... Wait, what? I don't know what happened. He missed the torch glitch.
That may have been when he noticed that he finished, I think.
Ah, okay. Oh no!
Oh!
Oh. Cransoon, no! So, Cransoon opts to forfeit, given that there's nothing else to worry about in terms of seeding. So he's just going to forfeit that. It's so close. Oh my gosh. Wulfy, GG! Oh my gosh, what a race.
I don't understand. How did I win that?
With the blind pull of the pedestal, I'm sure you're thinking, where is my opponent right now?
Yeah, where was he?
Right behind you. Actually, when you did a blind pull of the pedestal, he went slightly ahead because he opted not to do Flanctuary and like that whole area. He went right to desert, so you were just like 10 seconds behind him at that point.
Oh, wow.
But then just the execution difference, you opting as soon as you got the flute to just leave and activate it, you basically caught up and you went in to Meyer pretty much within like a second of each other.
So I could have had the bow like 10 minutes into that run.
Yes.
And then if, if I had had it, I would have gotten the boots like 40 minutes earlier or something.
So
and I would have gotten the flute so much earlier, and I would have been in go mode like half an hour ago.
So Cransoon got his first sword after 45 minutes. He's put off doing the sequence break up to Death Mountain, and he didn't get his Master Sword until an hour and 30.
Oh, man.
Because he, based on what happened with the way he was checking Pod, he went in there, got his hammer, but then he left. He didn't do Dark Maze. So you had Master Sword, which definitely helped keep you ahead. But the whole race, both of you just sort of going back and forth within a minute of each other. It was incredible. You both went into Ganon's Tower within 6 seconds of each other. You were slightly ahead by 6 seconds.
Oh, wow. But yeah, I thought about going to check the first chest in Swamp along with the dam.
Right.
Probably would have been a good idea, but I thought, it's probably just going to be a waste of time. But how wrong I was. That would have been a very different run if I'd made that call differently.
I do have to say how awesome seeing that routing was for you. when you put in doing the light world and the dark world together, with how early the Myths and the Mirror were, you were able to like put mini Moldorm together with Hype Cave. Like that was really neat to see.
Did we both do that?
No. Cransoon took a wildly different route than you did. He mostly stuck to the standard, checked the light world, then he did some dark world. Like I said, he went up to Death Mountain late. So given the fact that you both diverged and then you came together just because of how trolly like the bow was. You both got bow really late, so I'm sure you were thinking the whole time, my opponent probably has this already.
When I saw the bow, I figured I'd lost, so...
Right.
I mean, I think the right call there would have been to take the bow and leave and go check out, like, Pod. But I figured I still needed a bunch of stuff, and since I felt behind, I figured I'll go get the pendant, and I'll just hope this is a pedestal seed. Okay.
So that's because we saw you pause for just a moment, thinking about should I just leave. But yeah, there's still 5 items in that dungeon. You were at the time missing at least flute and boots. I think it's understandable.
And then the lamp showed up, and I
that's
started
that's
to
where it was.
rethink my decision not to check the lumberjack cave.
Oh yeah, you checked it so late, and you're thinking.
I stopped worrying about it because I didn't have lamp, I didn't have boots, so.
Okay, yeah.
But at that point, it could have been something.
Like, we were speculating, like, the whole race, where was that lantern? Because we saw both of you sequence break up the Death Mountain. And, of course, it was part of the progression with the sword, with the book that ended up being required. It's just like, where the heck is that lantern sitting? And it's just deep in the left-hand side of Swamp.
Oh, yeah, that death on Trinex was really frustrating.
Oh, I'm sure.
I really wanted, because I saw I was within 1 hit of death, I really wanted to drink my potion, but because this game is really well coded, you can't menu while one of the heads is exploding.
Right. Cransoon, likewise, he had a little bit of trouble on blind the first time. He did Thieves early when you did it. However, he opted to continue to blind, but he ran out of magic, so he had to actually leave and go back later to finish it up.
Oh yeah.
Since you both end up checking Thieves at the same time before Swamp, you were just, both of you, just refusing to go to Swamp for whatever reason. You were checking everything but.
Yeah, well, Swamp's an annoying dungeon.
It is.
But
in this case, it was required.
I was kind of worried about Thieves Town, but I didn't really have any interest in it with no sword, no hammer.
Right. You got, I think, both compass and map at the beginning, so it's like, Big Chest is going to have some item.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an incredible run for both of you guys. I don't know if Cransoon tuned in. I do want to say to chat, give both of our runners a follow. They are in the top 16 of the racers from this tournament here. Did an amazing job. They were within, seconds of each other at the end here.
Yeah, pretty much. Like once, very different routes through the very beginning of the seed, but then once you both kind of finally got the idea to go to Swamp, it was in sync so many times. Like one person would take the lead a little bit, then the other one would take the lead a little bit. It just kept switching. It was so. I had no idea who was going to take this. It wasn't clear until Ganon's Tower, when execution kind of leaned more a little towards you a little bit, but still though, really, really good race to watch.
Yeah, honestly, your Ganon's Tower really, I think that's what did it to you. That did it for you right there. Cransoon was keeping up. He had Fighter Sword, and he was just right there behind you at the end there. Like once he went in the pod and you went in the pod, he got his Master Sword. Like I said, within less than 10 seconds of each other.
So
he was just keeping up there.
We both finished with Tempered, though, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
No idea where Butter is. Probably somewhere, behind Armos or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, well done, Wolfie. Game 2, what did you schedule it on? Saturday, I think?
Yeah, we're having a game at 11 EST on Saturday, and then tiebreaker after that, if needed.
Yeah, so Game 2 and Game 3 right away. So definitely keep an eye on that one, see how it goes. Our next race for the tournament, actually, it looks like it's going to be El Magus tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern against Ben. So that's the winner of our last tournament there versus El Magus.
Mm-hmm. And you definitely want to catch that, just because, I mean, this race was so freaking close, and all the runners in the bracket stage, they're going to be putting on performances like this, I'm sure, so you do not want to miss this, or any of the other matches that are going to happen in this bracket stage.
All right, so I think that's all I have. Some Kirby, if you have any other questions or anything.
No, you pretty much covered it. Yeah, I don't have any further questions. Would like to say, though, if you do want more Randomizer before you go to bed tonight, there is actually on Speed Gaming, there is a daily going on at this current time. Something that's going to be happening throughout the entire month of December. Every day there's going to be 3 races broadcasted on Speed Gaming channel. The 11 p.m. race is going on right now. It's on Speed Gaming 1. If you want to check that out, definitely do. It's another open race like we saw here on this channel. So yeah, definitely check it out if you want more Randomizer. But yeah, that's all I got to say. It was great commentating with you, Jet. Good job, Volt, on the tracking. Thank you, Clifford, TRBD, for being the restreamer for this. And yeah, really, really great race.
So congrats again, Wolfie, on getting 1 win for this best of 3.
Yeah, thanks.
And look forward to some more Link to the Past Rando. Thanks for watching, all.
See you guys later.